So we'll call the meeting to order. I'll go ahead and do the roll call. Allie Taylor.
Here.
Zach Tammy Johnny.
Present.
Wendell Huggins.
Here.
Dustin Seaton.
Present.
Candace Baldwin.
Here.
Aubrey Shepard. And I'm Alex Baldwin. Real quick, why don't we go ahead and approve the minutes? I hear a motion to approve the minutes.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right. How about the meeting agenda? Do we have a chance to?
Just to real quick,
Yep.
note the special meeting that we had on the 27th of October. Those minutes, you'll see those in December, the December meeting. They weren't quite ready for this one.
Okay. Good. Thanks. Sounds good. Any old business to discuss? From anybody? I guess we'll get into the city councils, what we talked about, and y'all's. Okay. Good. Any new business besides the reports, anything like that? Oh, man, we're just breezing through this. All right. Doug, you want to jump in and take care of the updating us?
Yes. Well, I'm sure you all want to know what happened with City Council and the contract that you recommended. It was this week on Tuesday. Went through and was approved.
Great.
They also, it was contingent on the approval for the 2016 budget, which somewhat surprisingly actually was approved that same night. So Dan and True
great.
Media is going to be the service provider for the next 5 years.
Congrats, Dan.
Great.
Thank you all very much. Couldn't have done it without you guys.
That's right.
Really
Yeah.
appreciate it.
So what was it like? Were they had a lot of questions? Was it pretty easy or?
It was a lot easier than we expected. There were
Yeah.
no questions.
Doug,
No.
Probably because I
question.
presented it so excellently.
And the unanimous vote at the board.
the agenda session is where Doug presented it, and presented it very well. And they didn't have any questions at the agenda session, and so it remained on the consent agenda. And then nothing had to be said
Good deal.
after that. So it was very encouraging and very exciting. We're
Yeah.
looking forward to what it's going to allow us to do.
Yeah. Hey, Aubrey.
Sorry.
That's fine.
So big things.
Good. So they had no
2016.
questions at all. All that work.
No,
Ask me one question.
none. No questions.
Good. Congratulations. That's awesome. Way to go. Good.
Yeah, so that is good. And right now, Media Services is in the middle of, I guess you would contract, the finalization of the contract for the provider who will be doing the City Hall renovation and the TV Center renovation. That we're looking at having the contract go before council on the 15th, which is the last council meeting. They'll probably, and this is tentative, probably start working on that maybe in February, after the State of the City address in the chamber. But we're still working on that right now. The winner of the bid was awarded to a company called the Field Shop. They're in Little Rock, and they've done a lot of good work. In fact, they just recently renovated the Pryor Center over here. So if you want to kind of see examples of AV work and editing system work that they did, you can just pop over there and check it out, because you go in there, you can see everything that they're doing, because of all the glass walls, and you can see how the operation works. They did a very nice job. So we're looking forward to that, and that's about it on kind of the media services front contract, and then the public access contract, and then the upgrade RFP is going forward. So I guess I'll go ahead and launch into the actual government report.
Grab the lights.
Yeah. All right. So, for the month of October, on the government channel and the Fayetteville YouTube channel, you notice that we have 4,228 views, which is pretty good, and I'll tell you why. the number one video that we put up there was from the Gully Park series, concert series this summer. Barrett Baber was one of the performers during the summer, and he's also a contestant on The Voice right now. So what we did is kind of re-edited that concert. Normally we do not post Gully Park concerts on YouTube, primarily for copyright reasons. But we went through that concert and pulled out all of the non-original material that he did, and so he only performs original material. And then we posted this concert on YouTube, and we got his permission to do so, and also permission from The Voice, so as not to kind of harm his chances or do anything like that. And for the month of October, we got 3,277 views for that, knocking the Today in America off the top perch. And
Close third with Greedy Goats.
close third, yeah, right.
Is that from the newest one, or is that still the old video that?
That's the same Greedy Goats.
Oh, okay.
Yep. People like
Neighbor.
Greedy Goats.
Walking down Greedy Goats.
Yeah, and you know those views for that Barrett Baber concert, the Gully Park concert, are really high in November as well. So you'll see quite a bit of views. So that's good, but it's not something we're going to get that's going to be regular because of the copyright issues and performance issues with that concert series. This was kind of just a one-off thing where we took advantage of it.
Yeah.
It helped quite a bit.
But the whole concert's on.
The concert, the Barrett Baber's concert is on there, and it is missing, I forgot how many songs we pulled out that were not original.
On station,
Yes.
so it's not even there.
The whole concert itself plays on the government channel. On the
Okay.
YouTube channel is the edited
Right,
version.
that's what I was trying to.
Yes. And in terms of geography, a lot of people from the United States, because of The Voice and the searches for Barrett Babers, is driving a lot of this. Now, in terms of the devices, because we promoted this Gully Park concert quite a bit through the city's social media, you notice this is kind of one of the first times that the mobile phone usage is higher than the computer usage. And it's because, going through the city's Facebook feed and that sort of thing, people can click on that concert and watch it. It was shared quite a bit, too. And here's how they were finding it through the YouTube search, people typing in The Voice, Barrett Baber, that sort of thing. That drove most of that traffic. Basically, in this report, Barrett Baber is dominating everything I'm talking about. So, thanks to Barrett Baber, we had quite a spike in our YouTube viewing, and we'll also have that for the November numbers, too. Now, in terms of Granicus, for the government channel, it's pretty consistent with what's going on. You can see the spikes there that centers on city council and what's happening there. At 943 streams, city council being mostly what people are watching. However, Washington County right now is going through a lot of special meetings, budgetary meetings. It's been kind of a long, drawn-out process for them for the past month, and is still going on. And a good amount of people are tuning into those, watching what the county's doing in terms of budget. Budget is going through their quorum court because their finance and budget committee they folded that and have rolled it into quorum court. So budgetary stuff is being discussed in quorum court instead of its finance and budget committee. They may reform that at a later date, I'm not sure.
It's up to the discretion of the judge, isn't it?
It is. Yeah, it's at their discretion if they want to reform it and hold it. But I think because they're having some budgetary issues, and they wanted to discuss it through the quorum as a whole, And like I said, they've called a lot of special forum court meetings for the budget itself. Where are they coming from to view it? Mostly dominated through our city's website, because it's easily accessible to the video on demand catalog that we have for all our city meetings and Washington County meetings. If you go on our site, we now have a subhead called Washington County Meetings that breaks all the Washington County meetings out by their individual committee names. And so it's easy to navigate. And here's where they live, which surprising. There's no surprise there. They live in Fayetteville and good contingent in Dallas.
Hardy and Lincoln going on.
Lincoln. Yeah, you'll see some of that. It's Washington County. You're tuning in to watch these meetings. So it actually kind of helps us too. There you go. And, well, Barrett Baver drove us off my chart here. Somewhere up there is the Granicus numbers, which are small. But, so that's what's going on this month in terms of the government channel. Doing really well in terms of kind of repurposing material, using it for our advantage. We've got a bunch of other things in the works. We just shot our pilot for the Animal Services show. That's not really a public thing yet because we're still working on it. We've actually done 3 episodes so far. You'll start seeing those come out here very soon. And we'll blast those out through social media to let people know as well. We've also started shooting a police show. So I'll talk about that next month. And that would be my report. And I would have to move on to that education channel report, which I would have had for you. But in October, you requested a programming schedule from the Fayetteville Public School District to kind of see what they were doing. They do not have a program schedule to provide. The channel was offline for a period of time again, and now it's back online, still showing the message board kind of scroll that was running through the summer, I think. In lieu of providing a programming schedule, I asked if they could, at the beginning of the month, at least provide maybe some sort of memo or give me some sort of direction as to where they are in the process, what they're kind of doing. And here it is today, haven't received it. And did receive a message from the school district saying that they have been discussing what to do with the channel. That's all I've gotten from it, and that some of the people that are in those discussions were out of town and they couldn't get me a memo after a month. So I actually do not have anything to present regarding the education channel to you in terms of what they're going to do. I would hope we would have some direction from them by the December meeting. It would be up to the board if there's anything else you would like to see from them. Any questions?
What about their board meetings right
I can't confirm that
now?
the
You don't
board
know if
meeting
they're
is
gonna
even...
be recorded?
The board meetings are being recorded. I do know that the September board meeting was played shortly after, I think that meeting happened September 22nd or 24th. It did play for a couple days, and then it went back to the message boards. In terms of the October school board meeting, which was the October 24th, I found no indication if it was shown on the station or on the channel. I did ask for maybe like a program log and didn't receive a program log from it.
What does that mean? I mean, there's not...
Who's running the show there?
Well, yeah, that's a very good question.
Yeah.
Who is running the show? They don't Well, they're asleep at the wheel, is what I would call it.
And that's if we lose it, we don't get it back, is that the way that works?
If we lose it, we don't get it back from cable. And I'm not sure, PEG is one of those things where Cox or AT&T doesn't monitor it constantly, but at some point, if there's no programming on there, we may get asked some questions
Right.
about it. Now, the contract, you've seen the contract a couple board meetings ago. If you look at the contract, it's very loose in terms of what the school district has to provide. In fact, there's a list of things. I think there's a list of 7 different things that they can do with the channel, and they only have to do one of them on there. And it's something that we could explore, changing the contract, pulling the contract. Pulling the contract, though, somebody would need to run the education channel and the programming for it. There's a cost associated with that.
So they run it right now at their own expense?
Yes, they do. They shoulder the cost of it.
Why do you think there's no real urgency over there to get us what we?
Well, that whole division, at the end of the school year in May, they closed up shop. They let several of the people go who oversaw that. There is really nobody overseeing the channel right now. I couldn't tell you who's running it. When the channel goes off the air, they don't know it until I bring it to their attention, because they don't watch it. Prior to when they let their staff go, their media staff go in May, from that point and then prior, they were shifting programming away from putting it on the channel to, I think I've mentioned it before, they have a cooperative website that they are a member of, and they share content with high schools throughout the nation, and all their content goes there. They make their content for that. Their Fayetteville sports shows and that sort of thing, they go on that website to share it, and they don't put that content on the channel. They haven't broadcast, of course, any of the football games like they used to. Basketball's coming up, and they spent quite a bit of money to outfit their basketball facility with broadcast equipment. I don't know if they're going to air those on the channel or not. I have not been able to get a direction from them in terms of what they are going to do with it. And at some point, they're going to have to. They can't just let it flounder. But according to the contract we have with them, the fact that they're running a message board on there kind of technically satisfies the contract, because the contract is very easy on them in terms of what they have to provide.
Too bad we'll give them a channel they can put their content on and they choose not to.
Mm-hmm. There are a number of things that can be done with that channel, but it would be a process to.
I tried to watch the Fayetteville High School football game the other night. We left at halftime. I wanted to see it and it wasn't on. But it says it is. Like, they advertise that it's on. On one of their websites, it advertises that it's on the education channel.
Yeah, they haven't changed much in terms of, what's on there.
So what do we do? Like, is it something we continue to pursue? I mean, what do we?
Who were the staff, I guess, that got let go? Was it the East Lab or Communications?
That was, who was it?
I think that's just
Broadcasting.
who got let go, because that's
Yes.
the one that would try to
I don't
re-jumpstart.
remember his last name. It's been a minute.
It has
Was it
cinnamon.
Susan Norton involved with the, maybe,
Susan, yeah, she was over that. She left, of course, and came here.
Yeah.
I don't know who's in their place. I do know that what she had relayed to me was some of the new administration that came in from, I believe, the Rogers School District. The education channel and that sort of thing, is not a priority for them because it wasn't in Rogers. I don't know how true that is, but that's what Susan has kind of explained it. They let their main person that oversaw the their media services department go in May, and the number 2 person on the digital side, let that person go as well. They haven't filled those spots, so.
They haven't?
No. No, they basically just kind of disbanded their media department.
Why won't they do all that work to upgrade their equipment and facilities and stuff just to let people go?
Well, that was in 2009, I believe it was, is when they
upgraded.
installed their system. And they've done some upgrades over the course of that time. I do know that they quit. In terms of football, the reason why they quit doing football, they actually used to, they staffed those football games with students, and the students would get, credit, that sort of thing. But they also paid them, those students. It wasn't much, but they made, the student for, a couple hours made, I don't know, $10 an hour or something. So there was an incentive. Once that incentive was cut, the volunteerism rate disappeared, and then they just stopped doing the football games. I don't know how that's going to work with the basketball this year now that they have their new broadcast system in the basketball arena. But I know they're not paid anymore, paying students to do that.
This newspaper situation means that there may be no publicity on the board meeting, which is the first thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like the city council. Two of you get together and talk any business related to what that board oversees. You better have a witness. That's why smart reporters know those faces. They see two of them in a restaurant, they go sit at the table with them.
Mm-hmm.
This has been tradition, and they don't dare tell you to leave. And so they could get sued for not having public meetings if they're not making sure. They may get by just because they gave notice to the media ahead of time. But the papers don't have enough employees. It's like TV and
Mhm.
radio and everything else in the media. So it's kind of up to people like us who are concerned with public education, public information, to find out about it and encourage whoever on that new administration thinks it's not important to see the importance of it.
How often do we renew that contract with them?
It renews automatically on a yearly basis. The next renewal comes up in July.
Think
July
we should-
1st. However, that contract by either party with 30 days written notice can be ended.
Well, I'm just speaking personally. This is all new. I didn't know there was an issue with the, education channel until we talked about it, 60 days ago or something. So this is all really new to me. But it seems like it's pretty important that we have a functioning education channel. It's not limited viewpoint on things.
Yeah.
So what do we do what else can we do to encourage them to get going, or change the language in the contract? Do you think we should? What?
Well, if you don't still have copies of that contract, I can send them out to you again. One thing is to redo the contract, end the contract, and then redo it. In particular, since that contract is however many years old it is, particularly the language that where it lists the items that that the school district should be providing for the channel, like recording the school board meetings, showing programming and stuff. Particularly that sentence that leads that paragraph where it says that the school district must do any one of the following, as opposed to all of the things, it kind of lets them get away with doing a bare minimum of those items, including not really having to show school board meetings on it. It's very, like I said, it's very loose, and there's not much to enforce there. And the only thing that, from the city's recommendation, if you wanted to change the language in the contract, would be to seek to end the contract, reword it, and re-up with them if they so choose to want to be re-upped as the provider.
Kind of got to gamble if they're going to accept it or not.
True.
'Cause if
They
they
may
don't-
not. They may let it go.
They're not putting any importance on it, the new crew that came in, if they don't care.
Mhm. That is true. And if that's the case, then we would have to find an alternative. And like I said, running another channel would be an added cost to the city.
But you would think they would want a good education channel. You would think the school would. I mean,
It's 2015. And it's
Intuitive.
very media-like of them.
Yeah, unlike the government channel, which has a very defined boundary in what it is supposed to do and show, and public access, which also has a very defined boundary in what it can show and do. The education channel doesn't quite have those constraints because it's education, and education can be pretty broad in terms of what you want to do with it. So it doesn't have to be just school district stuff, as long as it's educational.
so can we narrow it down? We basically have three options, if I'm understanding this correctly. We can either really encourage them to get it back on track,
Mhm.
we can take the contract away and take it over, or the third option is the channel just goes away.
Yes, that's true. The third option would be an eventuality. I don't know how soon that would happen.
Okay.
Is that something that you could maybe, if if the school doesn't want the education channel anymore, like another service or organization that might want to use that channel, could you, say the Walton Arts Center wanted to potentially take that over for purposes?
Education.
Yeah, it is possible. We can bring in, kind of like we do for public access, we can bring in a service provider to manage the channel, serve as operational manager.
Because they do have that center down there too as well, the education, family, creative, whatever.
Mhm.
I will hop in here real quick and say that if that option were being pursued, your media would be very interested in exploring that option of being a service provider for the educational channel as well. So if that were on the table at some point, I believe that there could be a remarkable resource in the education channel that could network all of the educational resources in Fayetteville and create something that would tie very well into the other aspects of the PEG structure, the public access and the government, cross-aggregating media. I think it seems like a very interesting prospect. So if that were something that were being pursued, we would be very interested in having that conversation.
Yeah, Fayetteville is one of the few places left that has all three: public access, education, and government.
I think I would just like to know or hear something from somebody that, is a decision maker over there as to why they let it go, why they're not paying any attention to it. I think that might shed a little light on, kind of get it from both sides. I mean, would that be from the school board, like superintendent, or
Somebody, whoever is kind of over that right now, that would be a representative.
Yeah, because they
I
can
mean,
just,
the board here could request.
Just like a statement? from?
Yes, yeah, request a statement. I mean, so far you've requested a programming schedule.
That
And then
hasn't-
that didn't happen, and I personally requested some sort of statement just as a stopgap.
Yeah.
To present something to you. I haven't gotten that yet. You could formally request a statement, or you could request maybe somebody to present at the next board meeting.
But what if they just?
Well, yeah, then
We need to
they
turn
may
it.
not show up.
Yeah.
You can make that request, but at least it would be on something that's on record.
Yeah.
I would just want to know their side of the story, you know, more than anything. I would just say, hey, tell us why. You know, it's not important right now, you don't have the funding for it, is something, there's other things going on, like.
Just to kind of know the direction, what these talks are.
Yeah.
That would be a good thing, because they've stated that they've been having these talks since,
Yeah. the
July.
discussions.
yeah, these discussions since July.
And they do have an active film department and an active broadcast department where students are taking classes and
Creating,
doing projects. So there is a disconnect, I think, between those and actually getting the content to the channel. But I do know the teachers over there, and they're producing, you know, material, and they have students who are producing content.
Yeah.
It's just not making it to the channel currently.
It makes it on their the high school web co-op.
Couldn't it be a same process, like if they do one, it can do the other as well?
Upload it here, upload it there.
Yeah, it is basically as simple as that.
Yeah.
What you just described, but for whatever reason, they're not doing it. And I think it's because their media services department over there that was responsible for that is just no longer there.
Who is the top of the food chain? Who do you talk to?
I've been dealing with Gary Day over there.
What's his role?
He's one of these, I think he's one of the superintendents over that. But in terms of his day-to-day operations, you know, it's not really his thing.
Right.
And that might be one of the things, unless the public demands, okay, we want to see these school board meetings televised. Because if nobody cries out for it, if everybody just sits back and just reads about it in the newspaper.
If that, yeah, and at least know when they're going to play it,
Yeah.
if they do play it.
So they aren't even showing the school board meetings?
I can't confirm that I've been able to catch the one in September, because they played that for a couple days,
But it should be
24
ongoing.
hours.
They're
Round the
required
clock.
to,
Like,
obviously.
Just looping.
when it's, yeah.
It
when
was,
stopped,
it was
started
looping.
again.
It just
Wow.
looped for, you know, a couple days
Yeah, so-
straight.
So they're not required to, obviously, then, right? I mean, there are they?
Well, they're required to shoot their, you know, record their school board meetings. However, the way the contract is, in terms of language, they don't necessarily have to put it on the channel. They only have to be doing one of the stipulations to satisfy that contract.
Well, the sports thing alone should
Yeah.
cause an outcry from people who want to see their kids play again and
Yeah.
again, and people who don't get tickets and want to go sit in the cold for football or
Yeah.
travel even to the basketball games.
Mhm.
And I had a request 3 weeks ago, I think, for from a neighbor who's got a young man in junior high sports doing quite well. And she asked if I could come shoot video of some of their games. I think going into spring sports even. And I had to say, no, I'm about to turn 75, and I'm not going to promise to do anything beyond 10 minutes from now. And I'll hook you up with somebody that might do it, which I was thinking of one of the producers from Public Access, but I haven't found one yet who would do it. But that may be the reason, because a lot of sports were being covered at different times. It was not always consistent over the years, but they've been doing it for years. And not many people, once again, because people are so dependent on the internet now, and realize that some of you guys in this room are so young that your parents never got a newspaper. I mean, seriously, did you not get up in the morning and read that whole monstrous thing and all the funnies, you know? Now you have all the things on TV, you've got all the things on the internet. And so maybe nobody's complained that there hasn't been a report in the newspaper about a school board meeting. You said that was September, the last one.
September was the last one that I've been able to see on the channel.
And I've noticed that it was always just, you know,
It's just message boards.
So I guess, I mean, obviously someone's doing it then for the September. We just don't know who uploaded that or who is doing it.
what they.
I don't know who did it. Originally it was, they uploaded it and it played in September, and it was, the aspect ratio was off. And then they corrected it, but it became black and white.
Oh, no.
And then it was black and white and silent. And then finally it started playing normally, just in a looping fashion.
So should we move for a formal request from
I
them?
would think so. I would think we just need to come up with the right wording of it all. I mean, I don't want to,
Sound harsh.
yeah, at all at this point. You know, I think we just somehow, we can talk about it, I think we somehow say, hey, look, just what's your mission statement, right? Like, what's your goal for this channel, I think, would be more of, in my opinion, an approach we should take to get an idea of where they're coming from and where they're, kind of where their head's at, in my opinion. But we can talk about it, however you want to do it.
I agree, that'd be good.
So how do we word that?
Do we need a deadline though? If we,
Yes?
I mean, just to have
so.
them bark with the bite or the bite with the barking?
I think so, but I don't, so let's say they don't do it, what's our recourse then? I mean, what do we do?
It sounds like we have the option of a 30-day withdrawal of the contract if need be.
You can, yeah. You can maybe formalize changes to the contract, come up with something that's a little more, holds them a little more accountable and responsible, and then issue a new contract, should they choose to accept it. Should they choose not to accept it, of course, we will need a plan B.
It's all you, Doug. Okay. Well, I think, maybe don't give them give them a deadline, but don't give them like some sort of recourse, maybe like 3 strike type of deal, you know what I mean? Like, hey, we did this, you didn't reply, we did this, you didn't reply, here's our third, your third chance here, or, we're gonna have to.
We don't want it to be an ultimatum, we want just the information.
Exactly.
We're just
Trying to
curious,
find
yeah.
out what's going on. We don't want to put them in a box.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, half of their school year is just about up.
It may be a good time. I mean, we're approaching Christmas break, right? I mean, it may be a good time when they can kind of take a breath and formulate kind of a plan for it. And it might be a good time for them to come back together, because I doubt that they would want to see that channel go away, if I was guessing. I think that they would want, like Audrey was saying, their sports shown and, different stuff, school board meetings. I mean, how do you want to word that?
I'd like to start with some sort of, not necessarily worded, but I think the central idea that I would think that we would like to convey is we need a reliable and adequate channel of discussion and discourse between us. There's too much disconnect, and just getting a dialogue started that's somewhat reliable is kind of what I feel that we need right now. So how I would word that would be something along the lines of we want a dialogue, and any feedback on how we can make this work for you, so we have group synergy, would be appreciated. Something to that effect.
Maybe they need assistance of some sort,
Sure.
but they just haven't conveyed it.
Could the motion be, and granted, we haven't discussed one yet, but to let all your office to do whatever means necessary to reestablish that dialogue or communication?
You can do that.
Okay. Is that enough for your office to feel
Yes,
complacent.
it
Okay.
would be. Mhm.
Then I make a motion to allow the Communications Department of the City of Fayetteville to reach out to the Fayetteville Public School District to reestablish the dialogue with the school district regarding the education channel.
Second.
Third.
Well, can we include, I like that.
We have to discuss now, though.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Are you discussing it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I was going to amend it. Is that what I do there, is amend it?
Yeah, but-
Just we discuss at the end of it.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
What are you gonna say about it? What did you want added?
Oh, just some sort of mission, not necessarily a written mission statement, but kind of what their future, what their plan is for the channel.
But I think our motion's broad enough to allow you to do that, right?
It
Without
is.
any-
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay, good, okay, good.
Yeah, it does. And, you know, you instructed me what you want to hear about that. What would help would be a deadline.
Do you think it's too long to ask by the January meeting, so that gives, because I mean, it is Thanksgiving, Christmas, and then the
Yeah,
New
it's
Year?
quick.
And then maybe ask that by that time, they not only have what we've requested now, but what we've requested previously. So the programming schedule, the purpose statement, all by the January meeting.
Okay.
But
That would be
again,
the 21st of January.
I don't think
We
we
should
need to
invite them.
amend the motion, though.
Okay.
It'd just be up to his office to decide.
Okay, that's fine.
By January 21?
I think that sounds good.
That would be preferable.
Yeah.
Great. So was it seconded?
Yes.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, motion passes.
All right. Get to work on that. Now I can turn it over to Dan. Sorry, Dan.
It's okay. It's a very good discussion. All right, I'm glad to be presenting to you about October at Fayetteville Public Access Television. We actually had 25, not 23, class participations in October, and saw month-to-month increases in participants, program requesters, short takes participants, classes offered, and inside programs telecast. We continue to see diverse production activity at the Television Center. We premiered new original programming, and our online viewership continues to be up from last year. When it comes to trainings offered, in October we offered 49 class opportunities, up from last month. These are a combination of our contractually obligated courses, but then also things that we schedule to accommodate users, with the goals of trying to have it as accessible as possible for our users. And we believe that that has really contributed to our up numbers this year. So you can see that we're up significantly from the previous 2 years as far as opportunities for people to take classes. When it came to participations, we had 19 participants result in 25 participations. So you can see that when it comes to participants, you've got the 3 years in a row there, seeing that it's a significant increase this year. And so, and then, you know, down at the bottom of the chart, we have no-shows and cancellations, and those have continued to decrease. So, and then our average test score of all of the participants was a 98%, so we have a very high success rate with our students. So that was, as you can see, we've had, when it comes to participations, and I can show you in this chart, we've had a very interesting straight line, which is not something that we have very often. I will point out that we did lose our Director of Education in July. So, and so we have spent August, September, and October getting our new Director of Education in the swing of things. Spoiler alert, in November we have a nice big spike again as a result of the great connection that we've made with the university. Advanced their honors speech program, really blew us up this month, so we'll be talking about that next month. But in the meanwhile, what we saw here, I believe, was pretty much the direct result of having to do a significant staff change. We lost someone who was doing great work and have brought in someone who is now doing great work in a different way, and I believe that we're going to see the benefits of the groundwork that we've been laying the last several months, but we have had a very steady trend of about 25-ish participations per month. When it came to staff training in October, our technical director, Flint Woods, continues researching advanced green screen techniques, this month specifically in relation to Adobe After Effects. And our director of education, David Embry, is continuing his training in Premiere Pro, producing content and making sure that he's able to cover all the needs of our users in that advanced video editing software. When it came to certification activity, we had 3 new candidate producers and 1 new certified producer. So a candidate producer being someone who is qualified to use the equipment, and a certified producer being someone who has submitted a program for telecast, which is ultimately, what we're hoping for is people submitting content. So as you can see at this point in 2015, we have exceeded the number of certified producers from the previous 2 years. We've exceeded that. And then as far as candidate producers as well. So we anticipate seeing that continue to rise. And we're very excited about having those people submitting content. So our production activity in October included 4 new episodes of Short Takes, 2 new episodes of On the Air with Richard S. Drake, 2 new episodes of One World View. We had new excerpts produced from the Take Back Your Health America event. And then we produced the first episode of Finding Friends. It's interesting and separate. I think I have it here. We were approached by the Humane Society of the Ozarks to begin talking about making a program, and so the government channel is working with the animal shelter, right?
Yes.
The Fayetteville Animal Shelter, which does very different work than the Humane Society of the Ozarks. Humane Society of the Ozarks is a nonprofit, and they're able to take special needs animals that require more of an investment of time and resources. They're able to do fundraisers around specific animals that have specific needs. So the 2 operations do very different work, even though they're in the same vein and work together as much as they can. So with the government channel covering the Fayetteville Animal Shelter, Fayetteville Public Access Television is doing a bi-weekly show with the Humane Society of the Ozarks. And so we produced our first episode of Finding Friends in October and saw immediate results. When you put the animals on the screen, their adoption rate goes up significantly. So we were able to find homes for animals that came into the television center. And so we're setting that up on at least once a month that we're going to have them in. And then we've used that as an opportunity for Studio Lab as well. We offer a Studio Lab class every Saturday where anyone who has taken a studio class has the opportunity to come in and volunteer to crew a show, just in case they don't have a show of their own and they're looking for an opportunity to be involved. We provide an opportunity for them to be involved and provide an opportunity for community organizations to have something produced by a volunteer crew. So it gives people the opportunity to interact with cute animals and also test their skills and practice their skills as studio production crew.
So right now, neither of our stations is broadcasting anything on the county animal shelter.
That's correct. That is one that we are not.
Somebody could come in county.
That's right.
shelter
And then we would have 3 cute puppy shows, which would be great for the ratings.
What days did the 2 shows currently air on?
We run our Finding Friends daily. How often do you guys run? Oh, yours isn't up yet, right?
Ours isn't up yet. Although we have 3 episodes, ours is still very much in the pilot stage, as in we're still tweaking the show, and once we're done finalizing the tweaks, then we will start putting them out there. Generally, in terms of ours, we will have a new one every 2 weeks that will come out towards the end of the week, like on a Friday.
And with ours, since ours is geared towards specifically getting animals in homes, we shoot on a Saturday and we have it available for viewing that evening, actually Sunday morning. It's on the channel. So we're trying to get it as quickly as possible to where we can connect those animals with homes and then see those results.
Yeah, our show is a little different in that it's more about the animal services, not so much the animals that are there that can be adopted. Ours is more informational, tips, things like that, depending on the season. So, 2 different types of shows.
So here you can see the last 12 months of equipment utilization. As you can see, we have established a new standard when it comes to field camera uses. We've seen great traffic and continue to see great traffic with field camera uses. We have many producers requesting multiple cameras because it's very common to have multiple angles at a shoot. We've had to implement really kind of start to enforce our first come, first serve policy to where we will reserve the second camera, but then if we have someone request that camera, then we let someone have the opportunity to have one rather than having someone with two. So, but we've never had to enforce that before, and now we're really having to kind of button it down and make sure that everybody gets a turn, which is very exciting. So, and then we're actively following up with those users to find out what they're shooting and what their turnaround time is, really working on trying to expedite their process, make it more efficient, and get it to where what they're shooting ends up on the channel as quickly as possible.
Buy you more cameras.
Pardon?
Buy you more cameras.
That's right. We're going to need more cameras, Doug.
Never ends.
So I wanted to share this chart with you, which I submitted in the report, specifically when it comes to the editing bay hours, just to illustrate the difference in what happens when a project is on during a month and when a project is off. As you can see, our editing one hours for September were 30, and then in October were 48. And if you look at editing bay 2, in September it was 48, and in October it was 27. So what you're seeing there is someone finishing a project and someone starting a project, and so you can see how the activity is very project driven. And then we also continue to see editing laptop checkouts, and those are extended. Those checkouts tend to be from Thursday to Tuesday. So it's multiple days that they're checking out the laptop. They're able to take it home, do their editing at home, and then turn it back in on Tuesday. So, but then the field, as you can see with the year-to-dates, 2013, 2014, 2015 has really knocked it off the charts when it comes to field camera checkouts. People shooting content. So in October, we did not have any formal complaints. We do have our survey on the back of every test, and as you can see, we're in the high 4s, 5 being excellent when it comes to instructor knowledge, class material being user-friendly, but then the one that we are most focused on is that they feel prepared at the end of the class, and so that is very encouraging for us to see that they feel like they are ready to start once they have finished up their classes. New programming that we premiered on the channel in October included the 4 episodes of Short Takes that were produced, the 2 episodes of One World View that were produced. Richard S. Drake produced 2 new episodes and had them aired the same month. And we were excited to air the final episode of Later with Jason Sewell Season 2, Episode 8. So that wraps up the 2nd season of Later with Jason Sewell. In that last episode, Kyle Killams makes a cameo and essentially grills Jason as to the effectiveness of his 2nd season. And punchline at the end is that Kyle essentially postures himself to take over the show. So, but all in good fun. So it's definitely worth checking out. It's available on our VOD. And what it does is recap. It serves as a recap. So we're going back and looking at things from the season with Kyle and Jason having a very fun conversation. So I encourage you to check that one out. And we're very happy to have that 2nd season in the can. We had a great program called Exploring 3D Printing with NWA 3D. And it's a very good example of programming that talks about a commercial entity, but that is non-commercial programming. Something that we are very careful about, that we cover extensively in our orientations, that we cannot have commercial programming. However, people can produce informational programming about commercial ventures, and this happens to be a 3D printing company here in town that's doing great things, giving people the opportunity to learn about it and engage with 3D printing. And so someone who was involved with that organization made a program about it, and our viewers are able to understand about that without getting any of the information that then crosses it over into commercial content. And then we saw 3 excerpts from the Take Back Your Health America event in conjunction with the Bulldozer Health show that has been prominent on the channel this year. So as you can see, we are still leaning towards inside programming in October. We've maintained our 60-40 ratio to where people are viewing more stuff that is produced with public access resources than is not. We encourage and welcome people who do not produce with public access resources to submit their material. We can televise anything that a resident requests that they have non-exclusive distribution rights to be able to telecast. We love it when people bring us material. We love to put that on the channel. But here you can see that we are continuing with new programs on the channel. So our live stream viewers in October, we had 355 users result in 494 sessions, with the majority of them being new visitors. We'll go ahead and put 2014 is on the left, 2015 is on the right. So year to date, at this point last year, we had 3,000 users result in 5,500 sessions. At this point, we've had 5,700 users result in 7,000 sessions. So we are up significantly from last year on our live stream views. And it is our intent in 2016 to begin our VOD catalog on YouTube, as I may have mentioned in a previous meeting, so that we get better analytics. Right now, our analytics are limited when it comes to what people are watching on our live stream channel. YouTube analytics would be much more comprehensive, and we want to know as much as we can about our online viewing audience, because that's what we get the most information about.
Do you have a ballpark figure of when that content should be migrated?
We're at first of the year is when we're starting the effort, and that's when we're going to start, I would say, diverting people to that resource. Like instead of, we have our VOD catalog, and we will upload your content. If you create a video, we will put it in our VOD catalog. Now we're going to start doing that on the Fayetteville Public Access Television YouTube channel rather than the live stream channel. And on the live stream channel, what we'll have is a couple of informational videos in the VOD, but then something that essentially says, to see our entire VOD catalog, please visit our YouTube channel. So that is something that we would like to move to.
Okay.
When it comes to locations, as you can see, Arkansas definitely takes the cake, but then as with the government channel, Texas is next in line. And then for us, it was New York, Tennessee, and then Florida. So it's nice to see that people are engaging with the channel online all over the country. When it came to promotional activity, in October, we did our standard flyer distribution, social media outreach, and organizational outreach, as we do every month. But the special thing that occurred was the Spring Creek Arts Festival at the Jones Center is the largest student-focused media arts festival in the state, with 1,200 students in attendance that are high school students from all over the state that come together to display their work in broadcast, film, and photography. And so this is an opportunity for us to engage with high school students from all over the state who ultimately may end up being U of A students. That is how I currently have to engage when I'm sitting at my booth. As you see there, students walk up and want to find out about Fayetteville Public Access Television. I can certainly refer them to watching it. I can say we would love for you to watch the content, and then if you are planning on going to the U of A, when you do, then you are welcome to use the resources. And then I always run into the students from FHS and the schools that are able to use it as well, and we're able to connect. But then I served as the workshop coordinator for the festival. I like to get in on the ground level and help out. Trent Jones runs the festival, and so I sat on the panel over the course of the year planning the festival and then coordinated workshops in broadcast, film, and photography. As you can see here, this was a film workshop that I grabbed a picture of really quick in lighting technique and cinematography, and we had great topics. And it's a real pleasure it gives me the opportunity to engage with local professionals, to recruit them to teach those workshops, and then it's just really exciting to see young people engaging with that content, and they are going to be the future production people of the state and of our town. So it's great to have that opportunity to reach out at that festival. Also, when it comes to promotion, our Director of Education, Dave Embry, created another promotional video that we run on the channel and that we use on social media as well. This one focused on our series programming. So I'll share that with you guys now.
Where was that last one with the kids?
It was at the Television Center.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So series programming like that, several of those were shows that we initiated in 2014. And so in 2016, we are very excited to have the opportunity to begin initiating shows again and create more series like this that add diversity and wonderful locally focused content with faces that people recognize and that interacts with the community. And so we're very excited to be producing new series programming in 2016. So in conclusion, we've had a landmark year in operational engagement and participation. We have continued demand for equipment use. We have new locally focused programming being added to the channel. Our outreach efforts have quantifiably increased the number of participants and viewers. And your media as the service provider is always looking for new ways to better engage with the community and better serve the city. And I'll take this opportunity at the end as well to say that the RFP process was an amazing process, and I greatly appreciate the support of this board. And it's just absolutely exciting to have the prospect. Next month, I'll talk about some things. You know, when we had the special meeting, we talked about what we wanted to do with the budget, and now that things are confirmed, I'm going to start finalizing plans, keeping you guys posted on the great changes we'll be able to make. That will start in January. So we are continuing with our current resources and our current contract until January 1st. January 1st is when we will begin the new, all of the new efforts. And so it will be over the course of the first quarter that we'll really see the impact of those. So January will be the month where we plant the seeds, and then we'll look forward to watching them grow in 2016.
Good job, Dan.
Thank you very much.
You wish you would ask for more?
You know, no, because it really was about finding a balance that made sense. The reason that I felt confident in proposing what we proposed was because it made sense. You know, at any given moment, Doug and I were ready to answer if someone had questions, and knowing that it's a pragmatic and responsible proposal, even though it is ambitious, it still, you know, met the requirements that the city staff requested, and we are very mindful and respectful of the fact that we are talking about city resources. You know, we want to be good stewards of what we are issued. So we look forward to taking what we've been given so far, creating more growth, and then seeing what the future holds.
Thank you. Good job. As always. Any announcements? Anything else for the greater good?
Motion to adjourn.
A second.
Yeah, I'll take it.
You guys have a good night.
Thank you, gentlemen.